So I've been in my car a lot, so I've been doing a lot of my videos inside of my car. I haven't been editing or anything. If you can tell, none of my logos have been on the last few videos I've done. But I've been traveling around so much and doing Marriott reviews for my newest channel called Sunshine Spots. So, if you've built a channel before or if you have your own channel, you know it takes a lot of energy in order for you to create content to start off a channel from the beginning. So that's what I've been doing a lot. So last night I was at a hotel and Daddy-O came to visit. Daddy-O comes to the hotel to see me a lot. We also go to the park a lot and fly kites, like, and people are looking at us like, you two grown ass people are sitting here flying kites. Sometimes I'll have Domo and Marcus with me. Marcus is Domo's boyfriend. Those of you that don't know, Domo is my daughter, Dominique. We call her Domo for short. And so sometimes she's with us and we'll fly kites and we'll walk around the park and we'll feed the geese and we'll do things like that. And we'll just have a really, really good time. And it's awesome to me to see this black man be able to be around my daughter. And they get along and she likes him. Because, see, usually my daughter doesn't like anybody. Anybody I bring around. You know what I mean? I try not to introduce her to men I'm dating because I want her to keep a solid situation. And so far, she's had the same boyfriend for almost, I don't know, a year now. This is her first boyfriend. So, I feel like the stable relationship that she has with him is so awesome. And I remember there was a time where she was in school and all of the girls in her school were like promiscuous, and she was the only one that was a virgin, and she was just being chastised because she kept her virginity. And it's weird that it's the other way around. Like, for example, I'm older, right, and I'm open about my sexuality, and people chastise me, and then she's younger, so her being a virgin, people chastise her for that. So it's just weird. It's almost like, I don't know, two different sides of the spectrum, and either way you're going to get chastised. And so I had to explain that to her, like, always do what makes her happy. But because my daughter has a wonderful relationship with her father, sometimes it's difficult for me to understand because I don't have my father. I don't know my father. I think I had maybe a little bit of a relationship with my father for a little while, maybe for a month or so, when I was about 27 or 28. And before that, I hadn't seen him since I was about 5 or 6. So my relationship with my father is very, like, non-existent. So when, to see her be able to interact with um, her father and for her to interact with Daddy-O is good. Now, people always say, I'm not going to be able to keep a man, but I do want people to understand I have no interest in getting married, but I do not teach my daughter that. Like, I always tell her, if you want to get married, if that's what you want to be, if you want to be a wife, play your position. Be the best wife you can, be the best girlfriend you can. Because the type of woman I am, I'm doing my best as the woman that I am. Like, I'm definitely not interested in being in a relationship or being, in a marriage. But I like the situation that I'm in. Like, I have a good, wholesome, like, friendship and loving situation with Daddy-O. Like, it feels awesome. And so I don't put a title on it because it's too many times that I've been in a relationship with guys, or I've been engaged 3 times, and those situations were so bad. Not because I didn't want to be a wife or I didn't want to be a girlfriend, but because these men could not live up to the responsibility of being the man I needed and not cheat. So I started to think, well, if I'm constantly being cheated on by guys, right? And I'm doing my best, I'm being submissive, I'm being fun and sexy, I know I did everything I was supposed to do as a woman, what is making these men still go out there and cheat? And then I realized, you know what, I can't own these men cheating if I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman inside of a relationship to keep him. So that lets you know that where a man stands in his life is will determine what kind of man he'll be in a relationship. So now I just don't put that pressure on men. Like, I will never put that pressure on Daddy-O to just be with me and not have fun with other women, or or put these rules and anchors and chains and balls and all kinds of stuff on him so he can't have his freedom. And what I've noticed with me doing that, saying, listen, I don't want a relationship, I just want to enjoy whatever it is that we doing, whatever we decide to do, as long as we're happy, that's actually worked out better than me telling a guy, well, I'm looking for a serious relationship, or I'm looking for commitment. And my celibacy also helped too. So I try to encourage my daughter to hold on to her virginity for as long as she can. And I really want people to understand that when you grow up as a woman, a black woman especially, without a father, sometimes it's very, very difficult for you to pick good guys. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not that you like them treating you bad, but you really don't know how men are supposed to act. You can only really rely on like something that you've seen on television or other people's experience. And if no one sat down and talked to you about the kind of relationship that you're supposed to have, or what kind of man you're supposed to choose, or you don't have any kind of blueprint, you kind of got to wing it out here. So unfortunately, the role models in my life, I had some decent role models, but they wasn't around a lot. Like, I had my uncle Odell, and I had my uncle Craig, and my uncle Cliff, but they always lived far away. They never lived in DC where I lived. So I always would see them handfuls of times, and they were the only three men in my life that were extremely positive. But the biggest thing that affected my life was the choices that my mother made in men. My stepfather used to molest me. So, because of the horrible things he did to me, mentally and physically, he used to beat me, force feed me, make me perform sexual acts on him, and all kinds of stuff. And so, mentally, it destroyed me. Like, he had me thinking that being a liar was what I was supposed to be, because he said if I told the truth to anyone, nobody would believe me. So I needed to lie about everything. And that was his way of telling me to never tell my mother what he's doing to me. So what I end up doing is, psychologically, since he molested me for at a young age and molested me for such a long time, the behavior that I had even after he was gone stayed for a long time. And it wasn't until I was about 22 or 23 I started to see the difference in who I was supposed to be versus who I was. And I didn't even start modeling until I was 25, doing lingerie modeling until I was 25. And it really had nothing to do, well, it did have something to do with, how he treated me, because how comfortable I am with my sexuality. When you are exposed to sex at an extremely early age, when you get older, you look at sex completely different. Either you really, really hate the shit, or you're really, really, really comfortable with it. There's like no in between. It's like you really, really hate it, or you're really, really comfortable with it. But for a long time, my daughter was afraid that she was going to get raped and she was going to get molested, because I told her the stories. I let her know these are the things that men are going to do. It's some men out there that are horrible like that. It's good men and it's bad men. And unfortunately, your mom has been through some horrible stuff when it comes to men. So I want you to be very selective about the men that you choose. I don't want you to try to emulate the kind of woman I am. I want you to be your own woman. And I want you to be very, very picky about who you submit to, who you give your body to, because that's a transfer of energy. My mother never had that conversation with me, ever. So I had to make sure I had this conversation with her so she wouldn't even experience half of the stuff that I have. So, black men, this is specifically directed towards you. When you meet women who don't have their fathers, I need you to understand that they need to be handled completely different from women who have experienced having fathers. And even if they don't realize that there is a significant difference between them and other women, just know in the back of your mind that this woman needs to be treated different. And majority of black women don't have their father. They don't have decent father figures. And that's sad, but that's just what's happening. So when you step in, sometimes you might have to do more work. You might have to put more work into getting her to be a better woman. I mean, because hands down to my daughter's father, because he taught me so much. He taught me how to drive. He taught me how to cook. He taught me how to file taxes. He taught me how to get my own apartment. He basically taught me how to survive. No one else taught me that. And then here comes Daddy-O, and he's teaching me a whole nother thing about life. So I give a lot of credit to the men in my life for me to be the good woman that I am, as confident as I am with who I am as a person, because a lot of women don't have this kind of self-esteem. The self-esteem is low. So they give a fuck about what people think and what people say about them, and they won't be honest about who they are or what they're doing. And I don't have that. I don't have that problem because of the men in my life. And I really appreciate the men in my life. I really do. Daddy-O is one of the best men I have ever met. I have never met someone as wonderful as he is. And it doesn't have anything to do with romance. It has to do with friendship and love. This man is impressive. Impressive. This man, and I say this to him all the time, he changed the world every day, and he make it seem so easy. Like he changed the world with his hands tied behind his back. That's how awesome he is. Anytime he says he's going to do something, he gets it done. Period. Doesn't matter what it is. No matter if it's big or small, he gets it done every time. And my daughter's father was that way. So, it's awesome to me that in one lifetime, I've actually got to meet two men who are this grand. And I didn't get a chance to marry my daughter's father because he had his own situation pertaining to marriage, and I wanted to marry him. A lot of people say, well, you had your kid out of wedlock. You didn't want to get married. You wanted to purposely just have his kid and take his money. I ain't never had my daughter's father on child support. My daughter's father has always wanted to take care of his kid on his own. Me and him have an awesome friendship. We have an awesome just situation, and I'm just so blessed to have him around, and Daddy-O. So fellas, just understand there are women out there that need you. And because of some things that happened to them when they were younger, they turned out to be different kinds of women. And it's okay. You can still help out this woman. This woman still has good qualities. It's like a can of peaches. Just because a can of peaches got a dent in it doesn't mean the peaches aren't as sweet. That's all I have to say about that. So you keep that in mind.